Hello students, welcome to this new video on heat transfer through composite wall. Okay, the aim of the experiment is to determine the overall heat transfer coefficient, that is inside the bracket U, capital U, of a composite wall. So similar to the previous video, we will now try to concentrate on first the theory part of it. Then we will try to understand the little bit calculation part of it and the actual experimental setup. Okay, so now, so after the theory, let us try to understand on the experimental setup. Then comes calculation part. Okay, now coming to the theory part of it. So basically, you know, conduction mode of heat transfer. This is an experiment which is related to the conduction conduction mode of heat transfer. So you already know what is conduction mode of heat transfer. So when you have two bodies, say body A and body B are in contact with each other, and each bodies are maintained at temperature say T1 maintained at temperature T1 and T2, and the condition is that T1 is greater than T2. So when you bring two bodies in contact with each other, that is body A and body B, such that T1 is greater than T2, so the information of heat flows from one molecule to another molecule. Why? Because when the bodies are at very high temperature, if you try to observe microscopically inside an atom, the electrons will be vibrating and electrons will try to jump from one molecule to another molecule. So that is the reason when you bring two bodies in contact with each other, one having maintained at high temperature than the other, the electrons, actually the research has shown that the subatomic particles which are responsible for the transfer of heat from one molecule to another molecule is what is called as phonons. Okay, so those subatomic particles try to jump from one molecule to another molecule, which carries the information of heat from one molecule to another molecule. So that is the reason the body B gets heated up over a increase in time and tries to be equal to body A. Are you able to understand, guys? So that is the case. So that is how the information of heat will be exchanged from T1 to T2. So that means to say, when the conduction mode of heat transfer to take place, there should be what? There should be temperature difference. There should be temperature difference. That means to say that whenever the heat transfer has to happen, there should be a gradient of temperature. So your gradient of temperature and your heat transfer are directly proportional to each other. So that is when we will be learning about the most basic fundamental law of heat transfer through conduction mode. That is what is called as Fourier law of heat conduction. Fourier law of heat conduction. So what did Fourier say? What did he say? He said that the heat transfer is directly proportional to. So that means to say, I'll be writing the diagram here. So heat transfer is directly proportional to the area perpendicular to the direction of the heat transfer times, let us say these two surfaces are maintained at T1 and T2, T1 on the left face, T2 on the right face, and also T1 greater than T2. Okay, understood? Now it is directly proportional to the area perpendicular to the direction of the heat flow times the length of the heat flow. That means whatever the distance that it traverses, let us call it as dx, so is equal to A times gradient of temperature that is moving through that thickness of the wall or thickness of any body. That means dt by dx. Now if you try to remove this proportionality limit, I am going to introduce a constant K, that is called as thermal conductivity, A times dt by dx, with a sign minus into it. Why is the sign minus comes there? Because always heat transfers in the direction of the decreasing temperature. That means always temperature reduces in the direction of the heat flow. So because of that slope decreases, right? That is the reason why minus comes there. So this already you have studied. Now if you try to write it in a different perspective, so your Q will be equal to what? Delta T divided by, if you try to do all the calculations, it will be L by Ka. This derivation you have already done in your heat transfer class. I don't want to again do it here. So basically, what is the advantage of writing this means, if you are having any heat transfer happening through any body, you can try to modify that as an electrical circuit. That means it is in analogous with a current through an electrical circuit, the current through a resistor, which is maintained at voltages V2 and V1, and the current flows through this, that is I. So basically, this is in analogous with the circuit, that is the resistor circuit. That means to say your L by Ka, that is Q is equal to delta T divided by L by Ka is equal to what? Is nothing but equal to RTH, that is thermal resistance. So it is called as thermal resistance. Basically it is analogous with electrical circuit. I told you V equal to I into R. So your I is nothing but the heat. So I is equal to what? V divided by R. So in terms of heat transfer, you need a temperature difference which drives the heat transfer. In case of electrical circuit, your voltage difference drives the current, and R is the resistor, that is the resistance. Here RTH, that is thermal resistance, is nothing but L by Ka. This already you have studied. Now what is K? K is the thermal conductivity of the material. What is the unit of K? So K unit is nothing but watt per meter degree centigrade or meter Kelvin. Are you able to understand? So this is all the theory part. I hope this is enough. Now coming to the composite wall. What do you mean by composite wall? Let me just try to write it here. So composite wall means what? Let us try to understand. You have three different walls of three different thickness, say L1, L2 and L3. Also having a different thermal conductivities K1, K2 and K3. Now whatever the heat that flows here has to come out here, energy balance, and having same area, let us try to write it as A1, A2, A3. Now you have studied that. Now if we neglect the heat transfer coefficient on the RHS and on the LHS and RHS side, you can try to write it as, so Q equal to, so let us call this temperature as T1, and here it has, so this is T1, this is T2, this is T3 and this is T4. Let us try to call it as, so Q is equal to what? T1 minus T4 divided by the resistance of the individual bodies. That means to say what? Can you tell me here? L1 divided by K1 A1 plus L2 divided by K2 A2 plus L3 divided by K3 A3. L3 divided by K3 A3. Are you able to understand, guys? Now this is what is called as, if it is arranged in series, so the bodies can be arranged in series as well as parallel ways. So the rule whatever that we follow for resistor circuit is in analogous with this circuit. Got it? So since it is arranged in series, you can just try to add it. So this denominator we can write it like this, that is T1 minus T4 divided by overall resistance, right? So this is what is called as overall heat transfer coefficient or overall heat transfer resistance we will call it. Okay. If you have a heat transfer coefficient also associated with it, we will be calling it as overall heat transfer coefficient or overall resistance. Let us try to change it here. Overall heat transfer coefficient, overall heat transfer resistance. Because here you will not be finding it out any heat transfer coefficient here. Okay, so only the thermal conductivities of different walls will be taken. So this is how you will be doing it. So T1 minus T4 divided by that. So you can try to write it here. Individual thing is what is called as R1, this is R2, and this is R3. So basically it is nothing but sum of R equivalent. So this is what is overall thermal resistance. Are you able to understand, guys? So, or in another term you can try to write it as Q is equal to U times area times the delta T. So this is how you will be finding it out. So where U is nothing but equal to, I'll just try to write it here. So just see this, U is nothing but equal to 1 divided by L1 by K1 plus L2 by K2 plus L3 by K3. So this is what U is all about. That is what is called as overall heat transfer resistance if you don't have any heat transfer coefficient associated with it. If you have heat transfer coefficient, we will be calling it as overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay, so U is equal to 1 divided by L1 by K1, L2 by K2 and L3 by K3. Now here also you will be finding it out, U theoretical and U experimental, and you will be trying to, you will be comparing U theoretical with the U experimental. So coming to the experimental setup, how the experimental setup is, there are three materials. You will be using copper, asbestos as well as mild steel. Now how actually the experimental setup is, in the bottom you have what is called as copper, and middle you have asbestos, and the top you have mild steel. Now you have a heater which is attached to the copper, and you have a water jacket which is filled over the top of the setup, water jacket. So you have water inlet and water outlet. So this entire setup is actually isolated or insulated, I can call it. Is the whole setup is insulated with glass wool and all those things. Now basically how you have to carry out the experiment is, you will be again, so this is again connected to the mains, you will be maintaining a certain voltage and amps, so that you will be giving the required heat input. So heat will be flowing from the bottom, and whatever the heat that is conducted through copper, asbestos and mild steel is convected out by maintaining the circulation of water on top of this setup. Okay, so you will be also noting down what is the inlet temperature and outlet temperature of the water, and whatever the heat that you are supplying in. Got it? So basically each thermocouple, each material is having 3 thermocouples. Okay, 2 to 3 thermocouples. So 3 thermocouples have been attached to the copper, 2 thermocouples have been attached to the asbestos, and again 3 thermocouples have been attached to the mild steel. So when you go to the experimental setup, I will be explaining that. So T1, T2, T3, so that is all been noted in the experimental setup. So you have to find out the temperature of the copper, average temperature of the copper, average temperature of the asbestos, and average temperature of the mild steel. So whenever the heat, whenever you are trying to find out the heat transfer, that is Q is equal to delta T. So copper temperature, average of copper temperature minus average of mild steel temperature. Are you able to understand, guys? Now here what we will be doing it more, in order to properly take the value of Q. So Q input is equal to what? Voltage into current, correct? This is equal to, you are going to give wattage, but actually what is that we will be taking it out is whatever the heat that is convected out of the setup. So that is nothing but m dot W, that is mass flow rate of water, times Cp of water times what? Delta T of water. So what is m dot W? M dot W is kg per second, that is mass flow rate. Cp of W is what? Specific heat at constant pressure of the water, which is 4.187 into 10 to the power of 3 joules per kg Kelvin. And delta T of water is nothing but what? So this will be in, okay, let me just try to write it, joules per kg Kelvin, into delta T of water is what? T outlet minus T inlet, which will be in terms of Kelvin. So Kelvin get cancelled out, kg get cancelled out. So joules per second is nothing but watt. So this is what the Q you should be considering it. Are you able to understand, guys? So mass flow rate, how do you calculate? How do you calculate mass flow rate? Mass flow rate you should calculate by using, you take a measured beaker and try to collect the water for 1 minute. So where you will be getting it, the volume, how much volume has been filled for a given 1 minute of time. So your mass flow rate is nothing but what? Density times volume flow rate, correct? So how much volume is filled? So which is nothing but what? And let me just write it here, kg per meter cube times meter cube per second. That is nothing but what? Kg per second. So please measure the volume that is being collected inside the measured beaker. You can calculate it with respect to 1 minute, and then you can convert that into per second. Multiply that with the density of the water. You can get the mass flow rate of the water. Are you able to understand, guys? Now we will try to understand how to actually carry out the experimentation with the help of the experimental setup. Okay, thank you. Hello, good morning, students. Welcome to this another experiment on composite wall. So what is the aim of this experiment is to find out the overall heat transfer coefficient of a given composite wall. And not only that, experimentally you will be calculating the overall heat transfer coefficient, and you will be comparing that result with the theoretical value of the overall heat transfer coefficient. Now actually the experimental setup is fully insulated and fully covered. To our best of our knowledge, we have tried to remove the experimental setup. You can have a look at it. Already in the theory part, it has been explained how the arrangement of the composite wall is being done. You can see here, this is the water jet inlet and this is the water jet outlet which is going out, and you can see all these thermocouple wires which are there to measure the three composite walls. So you can see topmost is the mild steel, bottom is you can see the disc here. We have tried our level best to focus it in the camera. So the topmost layer is the mild steel, middle one is the asbestos, and the bottom one is the copper plate that we are having. So what is that we are doing is, three thermocouples will be there to measure the surface temperature of the copper, and also similarly the asbestos, and also for the mild steel. So basically you will be calculating the average temperature of the copper, average temperature of the asbestos, and also average temperature of the mild steel. Got it? Now we will just try to focus on how do we carry out the experiment. So you can see, as you see here, obviously heat input we need to give. So how are we giving it? This is a resistor. Basically, changing the voltage and current, the heat will be generated. So that is being used as a heater here. So you can keep on varying the voltage, and accordingly you can note down the current here. So with respect to voltage and current, you can note down what is the Q that you are giving input. Now for every voltage, that is for every Q, you will be measuring the temperatures. That means T1, T2, T3, T4, like that, 3 readings. So all the temperature readings of the copper, asbestos and mild steel, you will be taking it out for every Q. So what is that you will be doing? 3 values, you have to average it. Take the average of the copper, average temperature of the asbestos, and also average temperature of the mild steel. So you can see here, this is what the temperature measuring instrument here. As I keep on rotating here, it will be showing the respective temperature values. Now you can see here, this is the water inlet and water outlet. Now why is this being done? So heat, whatever the heat that will be conducted will be convected out through this water jacket. So here you will be measuring what is the T inlet and T outlet of the water. So how do we, what is the use of taking those values? Q is equal to mCp delta T. So what is the delta T? T out minus T inlet. So m is the mass flow rate of the water. And how do you calculate the mass flow rate of the water? So mass flow rate of the water is calculated, I think in one of the experiments you have seen that you have to take the measuring jar. Once you switch on it, you can maintain the flow rate here. So for that particular flow rate, you keep filling the tank, measuring tank. and from that you can calculate the mass flow rate. So m dot, you got it. Cp value of the water, you know, 4.187 into 10 to the power of 3 joules per kg Kelvin, and delta T, that is T outlet minus T inlet, that is going to give you the Q. So this is what the experimental setup. Now the calculation part will be discussed in detail. You can have a look at it. Now we will be giving you the set of readings, and also we will be showing you how to calculate and also compare U theoretical with the U experimental values. Okay, so that's it. This is all the experimental setup. So I hope you have understood. Hello students. So I hope you have understood the experimental part, how to carry out experimentation. Now this is what the observations. Please have a look at it. This is what the observations you are supposed to do. Be ready with it before actually going into the experimental setup. Not much observations are there, only just diameter of the plate and thickness of the plate. Cp of the water, already you know what it is. Now the tabulation part also, as I've told you, serial number, heat input, that is V into I, which is going to give you the heat input that you are giving it. So now then comes what is called as the thermocouple readings. So as I told you, there are 3 thermocouples attached to the copper, and 2 thermocouples for the asbestos, and 3 thermocouples for the mild steel. So please make sure that whether the heater is attached to the copper or the mild steel. Okay, if the heater is attached to the copper, you need to make, like, obviously the temperature of the copper will be higher than compared to mild steel, correct, because it will be nearer to the heater, so obviously the temperature should be more. So please try to calculate. So how you have to do calculate is, first, say for example serial number 1, try to maintain certain voltage and current and find out the heat input. Take all the readings of the copper, asbestos, mild steel, all the readings. Then what is that you have to do? Maintain a certain mass flow rate for that particular thing. Then water inlet temperature, water outlet temperature, and all those things. So mass flow rate is almost maintained constant for every ton. Then try to change the heat input, try to calculate all the try to note down, tabulate all the readings. So like that. Okay, so this is what the tabulation is all about. Then let us try to know how to do specimen calculation. So TMC is what? Average temperature, mean temperature of the copper. So 3 thermocouples are there, try to make the average of it. TMA is the average temperature of the asbestos, and TMS is the average temperature of the mild steel. Then comes m dot W, that is nothing but the mass flow rate of the water. You know how to calculate it, already I have told you. Density into volume flow rate in the theory. Please use that and calculate. Area of the disk, you can know how to calculate, already it is given. Then comes Q m dot Cp into delta T. So find out the wattage. Then Q equal to, so use this equation. That's why I told you, please check it. So here I have taken TMS minus TMC. So whether the heater is attached to the mild steel or the copper. So whenever you are doing your experimentation, please make sure one more time how the arrangement is, the MS or copper. Accordingly change the equation. Okay. So as far as my knowledge is concerned, I think it should be mild steel is at the bottom and copper is at the top. So accordingly you have to calculate the Q. Okay. So you can see here 1 by K1, 1 by K2, 1 by K3. So L by A into 1 by K equivalent. Now experimentally, how do you do it? You know Q, you know TMS minus TMC, you know delta T, you know L, and you know A. So the only unknown is K equivalent. So you can easily calculate K equivalent, from which you can calculate U experimental. So remember, since heat transfer coefficient is not there, the unit is watt per meter Kelvin. Now the ninth one is U theoretical. How do you know the theoretical value? You know the value of copper. So value of thermal conductivity of copper is how much? So it will be around 350 to 400. So I'll be giving you the value of the copper, 400 watt per meter Kelvin. And then K asbestos value is 0.166 watt per meter Kelvin. and K milestone is around 50 to 60 it will be. So approximately I'll be giving like 40 to 60, so 43 watt per meter Kelvin. So you please substitute all the values, the known values into it, and whatever the value that you are going to get is the U theoretical value. So basically, finally, the U experimental and U theoretical should match with each other. And if it is not matching or some other error, please try to infer that. Means try to write the inference as to what is your observations, what is your final conclusion. So this is all about the experiment through composite wall. We have explained the theory. Also, I have explained you the experiment and actual experimental setup and all those things. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. Please try to do the calculations for whatever the readings that you have taken in the lab.